Hi everyone, Hirsch Sai here, reporting from Auckland, and today is the 27th of May 2024. And yeah, so for this talk video, what I call four golden pieces of advice. I actually took notes on this one, so just to make sure I actually get it right. So yeah, the first piece of advice is that believe not or not, but it is seriously easier to continually working hard than to not work at all, because it keeps you occupied. You have something to do, you have a timetable, you have structure, you have a purpose, and, you're continually achieving something, and you're also fulfilled by what you do. And, it's just one of those things that, when you work hard, say you work hard for 5 days of the week, and then you really appreciate the weekends because you've been working hard for the first 5 days. Friday evening or Friday afternoon going home after work is so heavenly because Monday morning is so, how do we put it, hellish. So, yeah, the sweet wouldn't be the sweet without the sour. So it really is seriously easier to continually working hard than to not work at all. And on that note, I would say something is that honestly, never retire. Seriously, aim to never retire. You might, as you get older, you might say work a little bit less, or perhaps go from full time work to part time work, but never actually retire because you see, not all people, of course, but a lot of people who do retire, they become very, sometimes they turn into a cabbage, or they become very bored, or they become, I guess I hate to say it, but they become a bit slow and all that. Everything goes backwards, as if they start to decay faster than before, because they're not really doing anything, and they no longer have a purpose, and they've got so much of free time it isn't worth much, and they end up wasting it, and you probably get the picture. So aim to never retire. Rather than retire, try to sort of distinguish between what you love doing and what you don't love doing. And, what you do love doing, what is your passion? Make that your work. I know that sounds very cliche, but really make that your work. Whatever it is, make that your work. And yeah, so that's one, the first piece of golden advice. It seriously is easier to continually working hard than to not work at all. Like I said, it keeps you occupied, keeps you fulfilled, keeps you growing, keeps you achieving, keeps you out of trouble, gives you a very good timetable, structure in your life. You grow, and of course, you really appreciate the free time you have because there's less of it. So that's the first one. The second golden piece of advice in this talk video is, what would you say is the greatest gift you can give to someone? Honestly, what would you say is the greatest gift? And I've thought about it for a while, and I know it might seem obvious that giving them something material, a material asset, or perhaps a huge stack of cash might seem like it, but no, it's not. The greatest gift you can give to someone is advice. Very, very good advice. Advice that they need, advice, which they will use well, advice that will serve them for an eternity. That is the greatest gift you can give to someone. In other words, it could simply be education. And education really is the answer to virtually, all problems. It really is. You know, as the saying goes, give a man a fish and you feed him for a day. Teach a man to fish and you feed him for life. And even to you parents out there, you can apply this to your children. The best thing you can give to your children, or the best thing you can spend on your children, is not money, it's not material possessions. In some ways, not even attendance at a private school, or paying for their university education or something along those lines. The best thing you can spend on your children is time, support, love, and of course, giving them great advice, teaching them education. So the greatest gift you can give to someone, anyone, is basically advice, positive advice, good advice, advice they need, advice they'll use, or education. That's the greatest gift you can give to someone. So the second piece of golden advice. Now moving down this list. Yeah, a third piece of golden advice, and I admit this is one I also need to work on, but I think one we really, we all need to work on is as they say, and I'm sure you've heard it before, one of the biggest problems today in modern society, probably in many societies, I would say, is that we just care way too much what other people think. And we shouldn't. Your life is your own. You are the god of your life. You should be able to do what you do. It's like, for example, do you work out to be healthier and live longer and look better and feel better? Or do you just work out to show off your body to other people? You know, do you have a really nice watch? Oop, I don't even have one at all, but do you have a really nice watch on your wrist, so you can actually enjoy that watch? Or is it just to say to everyone, hey, look, I've got money? The same could apply to, say, a house or a car or basically any material possession. So, that's really something we need to work on. I think many of us need to work on. We care way, way too much what other people think. All the while, guess what? They're caring way too much what we think. So yeah, focus on yourself. Sometimes you just need to, do something for yourself, care about yourself, focus on yourself, and, sort of forget a bit about those or pay a bit less attention to those status symbols. They're not everything. So, we need to stop caring so much what other people think and really care more about what we think. And I would say, on top of that, or to add to that, those close to us, don't just care what other people think all around or in general, or especially people you hardly even know or people you don't know at all. Care about what you think and what those close to you think, and that's what I try to do myself. That's that's something I've been trying to work on, as well. And I actually already getting a flashback, talking to one of my best mates back in the day. I was actually saying to him, "Oh, would you think any less of me if I dated a girl who's about, or dated a woman who's about a decade younger than I am?" And he said to me, Hirsch, I couldn't think any less of you than I do already. He was my best friend at the time. Honestly, this 7 years ago, and I was like, oh sweet, so I can date her, no harm done, you know. And I did end up dating her, but yeah. So the third golden piece of advice, care a lot about what you think and those close to you think, not just about what everyone else thinks. And the fourth and final piece of golden advice, last but certainly not least, this is one I've sort of been working on a bit as well myself, is that simply the more you accept things as being 90% perfect or more, honestly, the better off you'll be. No matter what it is, whether it's yourself or how well you perform at work or how saving you can be or how nice your house looks or how clean something is, whatever, doing your part for for others, for the environment, whatever it is, try to aim to be sort of 90% there or more, because you can never really quite get that 100%. You can just never really quite get that. And the sooner you accept that, that things are fine if they're 90% or more perfect, honestly, the better off you'll be, the better off you really will be. you know don't always expect for the absolute best, or don't always expect for everything to just fall into your lap, or just to have everything is probably a better way to put it. Don't always expect for everything to be the best it can be, or just to have everything. One other thing I try to apply to myself, and I know it might even sound a bit odd, is that I think of all the positive experiences I've already had, and I've had so many of them, even in my life so far, and I'm probably only about halfway through my life, fingers crossed, maybe even a little bit less than that. But, I try to think of, good experiences from now on as just really a bonus, if you know what I mean. If for whatever reason my life ended right now, of course that wouldn't be a good thing, but I'd still like to think that if it did end, that I've still achieved a lot. I've still experienced a lot, and overall, I think I've done pretty well. Of course, I've made mistakes and done bad things, and there are things that I regret, and there are things that I'm sorry about. But I think overall, I'd say I've done pretty well, and I've done a lot of good things to make up for those bad things as well. And yeah, I've experienced a lot. I've achieved a lot. So putting that into a bit of a different perspective, think of everything from now on or on top of that as being, a bonus. That's a very good way to think of it, and it'll also help you to appreciate it more. So yeah, so four golden pieces of advice. It's seriously easier to continually working hard than to not work at all. Firstly, second, remember the greatest gift you can give to someone is positive advice, education. Thirdly, one of the biggest problems today is that we care way, way too much what other people think, and really we should be caring much more about what we and those close to us think. And last but certainly not least, the more you accept things as being 90% or more perfect, the better off you'll be. And don't expect everything to just be there, and even try to think of everything from now on, which is good, as being a bonus. So, yep, that's it for today's talk video. Thanks for tuning in, and I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you.